The Supreme Court just struck down a massive part of the president's trade policy. But instead of backing down, he's doubling down. This is Kenya News Update today. Coming up, you'll discover how a 6-3 Supreme Court ruling triggered a 15% global tariff, what it means for your wallet, and the $170 billion question that could take years to answer. The White House escalated its trade policy on Saturday, raising a planned universal tariff on imports into the United States to 15%. This happened just one day after the U.S. Supreme Court struck down a major portion of Donald Trump's earlier tariff program. But here's the twist. The court didn't take away all his tools. It was a 6-3 decision issued February 20th. The justices ruled that tariffs imposed under the International Emergency Economic Powers Act of 1977 were unlawful. They said the emergency powers statute couldn't be used for certain import duties, invalidating a huge share of the money collected. Meet the new strategy. Rather than retreat, the Trump administration shifted to different legal tools. The president said the ruling narrowed one pathway but left others wide open. He confirmed tariffs tied to national security and unfair trade practices would remain fully active. And then, something shocking happened. Hours after announcing a new 10% global tariff, the administration raised it to 15%. In an online message, Trump called the court's decision extraordinarily anti-American and said the move would push tariffs to the fully allowed and legally tested 15% level. This universal levy applies to imports from nearly all trading partners. Under federal law, it can remain in place for 150 days. It sits on top of existing duties already applied to specific products in countries like steel, aluminum, and vehicles. But here's what nobody's talking about: the massive refund. Companies that paid the now invalidated tariffs may seek their money back. Estimates suggest repayments could approach $170 billion. That represents more than half the revenue collected under the emergency tariff program. The Supreme Court didn't address how these reimbursements would be handled. Trump himself acknowledged this financial mess could take years to resolve. So what's actually still protected? The ruling did not disturb other tariff authorities. Duties on steel, aluminum, copper, vehicles, and auto parts imposed under national security provisions remain intact. Federal investigations currently underway could lead to even more sector-specific tariffs. And here's the part that will blow your mind. Not everyone pays. Certain imports are exempt. Goods traded under the U.S.-Mexico-Canada agreement are not covered. Sectors under separate review, including pharmaceuticals, also get a pass. But officials indicated countries negotiating separate trade deals with Washington would still face this new global levy. The financial implications for global trade and for prices you pay remain completely uncertain. This is a seismic shift in trade policy executed at lightning speed. Some say it's necessary economic defense. Others call it a dangerous escalation that will raise costs for everyone. The tension is clear. A court slaps down one approach, and the administration immediately pivots to another with even broader reach. But if $170 billion might need to be refunded, who ultimately pays that bill? Do you think this aggressive tariff move is a smart counterpunch or a risky economic gamble? Drop your take in the comments. Subscribe to Kenya News Update today for more breaking global news that impacts you.